let's take a look at some of the other things that we can create and that we're going to be making over this little playthrough. For starters, we got different types of homes. There are stone houses that we're going to be able to upgrade to. We're starting with just the wooden houses, which are much cheaper, but those stone homes have more warmth and probably some other features as well. We can also make a boarding house for the homeless to take shelter if we just want to make a giant... Oh my goodness, it's massive. That's awesome. What else can we make? Roads and bridges, of course. We're going to want to make some roads. How much are those? It costs no resources, so it's definitely worth getting some dirt roads built in right in front of our homes just to kind of streamline that process. We can also make something next to the dock right here. So let's create a road that leads up to our little homes. We can also make it in a bit of an L shape. So let's just go ahead and do that and then connect it to the other roads. They won't necessarily follow the roads. You can see how they're just cutting across sideways. You want to build your city in such a way where there are just narrow streets for them to walk on. It will definitely increase the efficiency. And if you control where they can walk, you can control how fast they walk, if that makes sense. So it seems that we've narrowly avoided starvation. We've got 116 stored food now, thanks to both our fishing dock and over here is the gatherer's hut. Let's actually look at our gatherers and see what they're up to. Over here we can see that we got 3 people working on the task right now. Arlyle is currently working. He's bringing some food back in. And we've got Gilbert, as well as our 19-year-old Migdalian. Migdalian, of course. Who else would it be? So what we can do now is start focusing on keeping our people warm. We need to get them some firewood, and we also need to get them some more efficient ways of gathering lumber. So for firewood, we're going to go over here into the resource production tab, and this wood cutter is going to allow us to turn the lumber into firewood. So it doesn't really matter where we put it. We're going to want to make a storehouse somewhere over here. So let me figure out where that's going to go first, and then we'll put the wood cutter down. I got the game paused here because I don't want to run out of time. I don't want anything crazy to happen. Disasters can happen, by the way. I have no idea what they are, but they're disastrous, so you don't want them to happen. But if they do happen, it'll be really cool. Over here in the storage menu, I can select. First, I had the stockpile, which you can see right here, to good effect. I can make a storage barn instead, which costs 48 lumber. That's going to take most of our supply and only 16 stone. But it conveniently fits in this small patch that I accidentally created. I wish I could take credit for this, but I most certainly cannot. So we want the arrows to be touching the roads. That's a good thing. So let's place it right in this little cubby. That's just a perfect spot. I can't believe how well that fit in there. And then we can make another road kind of surrounding it. So heading over here to the Roads and Bridges tab, I used a little shortcut for that. We can just make this surround the barn that we've created, the storage barn, and now it's going to start being built after this home is created. And then we're going to be able to move all the stuff from the stockpile into the storage barn itself. Now that the storage barn is underway, let's go back to my original task, what I wanted to do, and create the wood cutter. Now we can make some firewood. So I kind of want to have some more homes in this little spot right here, so let's place the wood cutter somewhere just kind of close by, and we can have a little neighborhood stretching off into this direction. That sounds good. Let's just put the woodcutter back here at this edge, right here. This way we can have a road kind of going around to the side, both sides if we so choose. It just seems like a decent spot. So our builder has his work cut out for them. We've got just one, so let's add one more. Then we just got one laborer, and we have a good supply of stored food. So let's take off one fisherman. I think we can afford that, so that we have 2 laborers. The laborers are going to be the ones that are cutting down the resources and carrying things from one place to another. It's just a generally good idea to have. You can see there's a snowflake on top of this house. What that means is they're cold. They're a little chilly. They need some firewood. Oh, look. They're carrying food. How pleasant. I love how you can just watch them do everything. You could just see that little citizen Javante take the wood to this storage barn plot. We can see that our citizen here is creating this dirt road with a pickaxe. You can just follow them around, watch their tasks. Each one has their own assigned job. Uh-oh. It's getting a little cold in here. It's late autumn. We've got an early snow and a little bit of an emergency with the reserve of logs. And food is low all of a sudden, which means let's get our fishermen back up to speed. We have consumed so much food out of nowhere. So we're only going to have 2 laborers. Oh, no, we have a new adult. So now we still have 2 laborers, even though we've assigned another fisherman. And we are completely out of food. So let's add one more gatherer just to try to speed that process up. There's a lot more ways to get food. Just so you're aware, this is not the only 2 by any means. These are the 2 that I have chosen. Other methods include farming, but we don't have any seeds right now because on the hardest difficulty, you don't get any seeds. So we could also have a hunting cabin, so we could hunt for some of the aforementioned deer, which are grazing right over here. That might not be a bad idea in the near future to add. I kind of want to focus on getting the storage barn and the woodcutter up and just getting our fishing dock and the gatherer's hut full of workers, and hopefully that will be enough to combat the winter cold months that are coming ahead of us. Now, it's important to note that since we're building all these new buildings, we have a limited supply of logs. There is a way to get logs besides just chopping all of these down, but I'll have to show you that in a future video. For now, that's what we're going to have to do. So let's remove just the trees. We can remove all the resources, but I want to focus on the trees. So let's just go somewhere off right here next to where we have a little bit of a forest that we're not using. And let's just chop a bunch of these down in this little area. So that should be good enough, a good little start. The laborers will get to work chopping down some of those trees, bringing the lumber back because we have only 4 stored logs at the moment, which is not going to be enough to help us create this woodcutter. We still need 24 in total. The storage barn, however, is almost ready to start construction. Let's speed things up a little bit so that we can start gathering some of the wood back in this general direction. And, of course, constructing these storage barn and woodcutter. The woodcutter is necessary to keep these people warm. Again, these are going to freeze to death if we're not careful. So I've got the people on the task. We finally got a small supply of food again. I think it will be okay if we take one of our workers off, but not 2. So let's go ahead and go over to the assigned jobs. Let's take one of the fishermen off so that he can start helping with the labor, gathering the wood and the lumber. That's going to be a very important task. And over here, we're gathering the stone for the woodcutter. The storage barn is going up higher and higher, and then we can start moving this stuff off the stockpile into the storage barn, which is going to be oh so much more efficient, protect the resources. And is the reserve of food low again? We got 225, so we're doing okay. We're doing okay. The barn is complete. So now we're going to start moving some of these resources to the barn, put them in a nice, much better area. Let me see what the benefits of the barn are exactly. It can also store clothing, textiles, and tools. We're going to need to create some clothing for these people sooner or later, and hopefully they don't lose their clothing. A child was born. Sorry to surprise you, but it's exciting. Is that the first child? Maybe I missed one. Up here at the top left, you can check on the temperature. It's 40 degrees and it's raining. You can see the weather. You can see how many people you have. We have 12 adults and 6 children at the moment, as well as what year it is. It's year 2. We survived for an entire year. Oh, happy day. Isn't that exciting? Our little town of Borderline is now a year old. I was going to keep this on 2 times speed, but 5 times just seems to be better overall. 451 food, so we have a surplus now, which is really good. And we've got 3 more laborers after the child was born. That's amazing. Let's take a look and see what we can assign these people to do. That's going to be very important. We can also check out a little map. Ooh, nifty. All right, let's assign some more jobs, shall we? Let's get 1 woodcutter. This place is almost done with construction, and indeed now it is. So 1 woodcutter is going to be chopping down some firewood for these people to stay warm. As long as we have some logs, that is. Our reserve is still a bit low, but we are chopping some down back here and putting them in the stockpile. We also could use, let's see, what else do we need? We got a ton of jobs. I'm sure you've already noticed how many there are. Over here in the resource production tab, you can see that we have a mine, so that's going to be able to be used to gather stone on a more permanent basis, and a forester lodge. So the forester lodge is going to work kind of the same as the gatherers. We're going to place it down. They're going to be able to cut down and replant trees, and that's going to be really exciting. So many buildings left to go. Hopefully we can survive on this hard difficulty and be prepared for the coming winter. Let's take a look and see how our new wood chopper is doing. You can actually see the little piles of chopped firewood right next to his stumps. They're taking them over to the stockpile now, and then eventually to the barn. We have to get rid of the stockpile so that they can just default to the barn, so I'm going to work on that in another episode. And I think next episode we're also going to start focusing on getting a more permanent supply of lumber so that we don't have to keep sending the laborers out to chop down all the trees. And with that new permanent way of getting the wood, we can of course start replanting the trees, and that's going to create a lovely little ecosystem for us to hunt some deer in. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you are too. If you're enjoying this series on Banished, please let me know by leaving me a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and of course leave me your thoughts below with other things maybe I should start building. Looking forward to seeing what you guys think, and I would love to continue this series on in the future until we get all the buildings and a lovely little town and blossom it into a city. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Italix, and I will see you next time.